First of all, I want to thank Anu, all my friends, members of TDC, and all Aurovillians. What an occasion to talk about Auroville, that too from far distance. I wish I was there among the model plans, photographs, and I could have talked at length. But I'm sure most of the things you know. But what I want to talk about is my impressions and my belief in why Auroville is so significant in today's times. Professionally, we are all working, busy, running around and thinking. So when you come from the city, whether it is Pondicherry or Ahmedabad or Bombay, and come to Auroville, the whole experience is totally different. Life is opposite, paradoxical. But still, there is a lurking feeling that when I am in Auroville, I see the forest, I see people there, I see quietness, I experience peace, and I experience searching for silence. It looks an idyllic plan and it looks like a wonderful place, but I always wonder what is it there that is going to happen in another 50 or 100 years? And I think that is where the galaxy plan becomes the most significant plan. It was designed by my senior colleague whom I had met few times, Roger. And I was also talking to him, and often whenever I met other people who have been with the mother for a long time, for decades, I always talked about this. As an architect, I saw the plan and I was wondering how such a fantastic plan was conceived, the galaxy plan. All these years I have been pondering. How can one understand galaxy and then they put it into physical, material, architectural world and create a habitat? But then suddenly, often I remember mother calling it Auroville, the city of dawn. What kind of dawn? What kind of world this is? And I think this is where the whole crux is. When you think about the plan, when you think about the interconnected flows within the main master plan, the kind of pattern, the kind of form, the kind of location, even for bathroom and the water bodies and everything, one begins to feel that it is a new cosmic order which is there and it is going to happen or will be implemented over time. And this is where I recall my first visit in 1970, when Matru Mandir was under construction, hardly any houses were there. And I met Roger briefly and then I met Piero. And I saw that among all such hardships, temperature, work, the technology, the labor, there was nothing. And out of nothing, there was this dream of creating this galaxy plan and talking about Auroville. And today, when I see it happening, very little, but still it's happening. But more than that, when I see my friends there, when I see them working, living, eating, or quietly doing things, there is a peace there, quietness there is silence there, which is what the galaxy plan is supposed to do. And I think this is what I think the mother was thinking about. How can we create that transformation in the body, mind and spirit of the people that who come there or who live there? And then when we start talking as architects and discuss about relationship between the building and the place, I think one thing which is there is integration. Integrating life, place, forces, and relating them to time and energy and resource. And I think this is where the whole key is of the galaxy plan. It is not that, for example, the climate is very often hot, humid, harsh. But then, deep inside, when you see the planet, when you see people and those who live there, the Aurovillians who live there, I think there is one word which I think is that understanding of sustainability. And I think that sustainability is the key of Auroville. Relationship with nature, continuing not only constant with quality of life in that 24-hour cycle, and even my resistance of putting vehicles there, because the whole idea is life has to be matched with a couple of things together, and that is what I think the essence of the galaxies. Because when I think of the galaxies, when we look at the modern science and on a telescope they show you these galaxies, it's wonderful. They are quiet, thousands of kilometers away, but always shining, always in that dynamic balance. And even though there is so much turbulence and climate change that is happening, still the earth is trying to create its balance, and that is related to the faraway place. And I think that is the time we think that the dawn or the city or the place or the life is going to go on for years and years. Millions of years this will happen. But under that, if we contemplate, we will find that there is balance and there is peace and there is silence. And I think that is really what the plan is supposed to talk about. And when I see the plan in detail, Roger's plan, I see that there are a whole lot of scales into that plan, put in such a way that they all create movement within themselves. And in that plan, there is an interconnectedness and diversity as well as uniformity. And it looks like that plan has a consciousness of energy and time. There is a relationship between life. There is a life 24-hour cycle. And I think this is something which I think we have not trying to do. I think it needs, of course, time. What I think has happened is that the galaxy plan, which connects 24-hour cycle activities over seasons, and they all look like one harmonious whole, as if it's complete. And I think that completeness, which I think today still is missing, and I think that is what we have to do. The relationship between the place of work, place of living, place of activities, or place of any transaction, or place of rest. I think that was there, before in the ancient times, long, long back ago, when we were a small community, and today it is completely disconnected. I mean, the performance of a city is where you live, how you move, how you work, and how you rejoice your life. I think that galaxy plan has that as the main theme. That's what is weaving that plan together. But more than that, it is also integral with climate. It talks about ecology. It talks about saving energy. It talks about creating buildings which will use minimum energy. And I think this is something which is so good about Roger's plan. And I admire it because when I saw for the first time, when I came there, it was hot, humid, hardly any levers. There were people who were sweating. And in that situation, there was this faith. And that faith is what is important. And I think what that galaxy talks about is there is a dynamic balance, maybe not apparent, but there is an undercurrent of harmony. There is an undercurrent of sharing energy, undercurrent of utilizing everything as if it is all interrelated. And I think this is something which I find in Auroville the most important thing, that interconnectedness. Interconnectedness which today we don't think so or we don't find it. But I think that is where we should be careful that do we use new technologies but we lose the sense of time, place, relationship? And what about nature, the natural laws? I think Auroville's best part is that it is still holding it and the ground is getting greener and wider and more young people are coming and more they know that it is ecologically best life. In fact, even the sharing of food, sharing of resources, sharing of dollar without the returns is what the law of nature talks about. And I think that natural law is what is ecological law. And I feel that I wish that I could come and stay there with you. I could spend some time with you and really rejoice this whole idea of living in peace and harmony, but living and rejoicing the virtues of nature and natural ways. And that is the time I see how the sharing has become the major part and not rushing, not spending time, going only places to places. I think if we want to talk about the new life, we are talking about the new life of peaceful, relaxed vision where it is going to be saving energies, giving those to us so that we also become spiritual, quiet, and with a lot of reverence to the world around. And I think this is what I would like to say, that you are lucky and I wish I was there today to share with you the joy that I always enjoyed and sharing. Thank you. Excuse me, I forgot something to talk about. Few years ago, I had gone and visited Roger's buildings, those couple of houses that he did in ferro cement. When I saw them very early, I didn't realize, but today I realize the virtue of those houses, their fluidity, new technology, new way of expression, and creating something which is ever changing and ever moving and ever touching you in different facets. Those few houses which were done before, I had the privilege to go there, and be in those houses for a few minutes or sometimes, a little longer. How wonderful to think about new life, new way of living, and not even feeling confined, restricted spaces. The air can move, eyes can travel, and the forms can change. And I think if one was looking at those ideas and spirit and connect them to the real present day architecture, I think we would find that we have created a very different kind of shelters. Incidentally, when I initially saw the earlier houses, the earlier most, they were made of thatch and that they were partly below ground. And what a wonderful way of discovering architecture. And I wish that we sometimes do something like that, as if that we are creating a new way of life, a new way of experiencing, a new way of treating the earth, the sky, and the air, and the sun.